Hey, thanks for joining. Today I want to show you the stack we are going to use in the full course to build an app from scratch without any coding knowledge. And to be honest, it's the exact same stack I used to build File-AI, which is a full stack app that have a front end, a back end, a login system, a payment method, etc. Everything in, and you can reproduce something very similar if you want to, or something totally different, in fact, what you have in mind using this exact stack. So, first things first, of course, and you guessed it, the first one is Replit, because Replit, in fact, has four different features in it, which make it very, very interesting for no coder like us if you want to build an app using only generative AI. The first one, and I can open, for example, the backend and the code of File Dash to show you that is the IDE itself. IDE is basically your development environment. It means that you can just show your code, install everything you need to run your code inside Replit. So you don't have to actually install anything on your own computer. It's all hosted on Replit. So that's the first feature, which is very interesting. The second one is right here. As you can see on the top right, I have opened agents sidebar, which is basically Replit agent. And if I click on it, you can see that I have now a text field where I can just write my prompt. And Replit agent is just built that you can write your prompt and it will execute everything that is needed to just basically achieve your goal. Of course, you cannot just say, oh, build me this app with the login system, with Google, and with the payment method, everything. As you can see right here, I have 14 steps to build File Dash. Don't worry, it was also a learning process for me, so now I'm much more efficient and I will avoid you everything in the full course, so you don't have to spend too much time in just discovering everything. But just keep in mind that Replit Agent is very efficient when it comes to um, adding a feature or just starting your project from scratch. Instead of writing the first line of code, you can just generate the project from scratch. All right, the next one, and you can see right here, I will maximize it, is Replit AI. But what's the difference between Replit Agents and Replit AI? As I said before, Replit Agent is a way for you to perform tasks using generative AI. But Replit AI is more a tool where you can ask some question. As you can see, here at the bottom left corner, I have this AI code base knowledge. It basically means that Replit AI has access to my whole code base and I can ask some question using right here Claude 3.5 Sonnet v2, which is very convenient because Claude Sonnet is currently the most powerful model when it comes to coding, and you don't have to pay for its API or just to pay for Claude in the regular UI. You all have this inside Replit, which is very, very convenient again. But Replit AI is a way, for example, if you find some code elsewhere, let's say on GitHub, for example, to implement this code inside your app, because Replit Agent can be very useful when it comes to just adding a full feature or starting your project, but sometimes you will have to just try different things, ask questions to your code base to just better understand it, for example. Since you're not probably not a developer, myself, I've only used no code tools and generative AI, so I don't know how to write a single line of code by myself. So sometimes I just ask some question about my own code to Replit AI, and it's very convenient because I can understand everything without actually writing it or knowing how to writing it. Let's recap. You have this basic environment where you can write your code and show your code right here. You have also on the right Replit Agent, Replit AI, but another thing which is very, very powerful in Replit is deployment. So here, as you can see, I have this plus button and I can search for deployment. Of course, this app is already deployed because it's my own app, File-AI, right here. So if I click on it, I can just log in, etc. So it's already deployed. But in Replit, you have this deployment option. Let me show you, for example, with an app which is not deployed to show you the UI and the different options. So right here, I select deployment, and you have 4 different options. Of course, in the full course, I will describe each option and the one you should absolutely choose for a specific project. But keep in mind that you have 4 different options. The first one is just basically a virtual machine, so it's a static server, let's say that way. The second one is the one I used for FileDash, for example. It's very convenient for web apps when you don't know how many resources you need, how many compute units you need. It will just adapt along the way, so quite convenient. Static is more for, let's say, landing page and static website or static apps, and scheduled is just a way to run some scripts at time-based with a time-based schedule. As you can see, Replit is really an all-in-one tool because you have like the whole environment to develop your app, Replit agent, Replit AI, but also the deployment. The second tool you will need is GitHub. Why GitHub? You probably already know GitHub, but if you don't, it's basically a way to host your code. And you will probably ask the question, yeah, but my code is already on Replit, and you're absolutely right. But GitHub allows you to back up your code and to, let's say, store different versions of your code. Let me take an example. Here I'm back to this specific app, and I will show you from scratch, but I can here open a new tab, searching right here for Git. And Git, as you can see, allows you to control the different version of your app. And you can synchronize Git with GitHub. So it means that, for example, if you are currently building an app, and you can save the different version. So I make a modification and I can just stage this modification. I save it basically. And I continue to edit my app, but after some minutes or some hours, I say, oh, okay, the previous version was more suitable, and I don't want the current version I have, so I need to roll back to the previous one. That's where you need Git and GitHub, because you don't have to just export your code anytime, and it's just a way for you to save every version and just roll back if you need, especially when you are no coder like me and you make some modification using AI. Sometimes the AI can get wrong, it happens. So don't worry, you can just roll back your code using Git and GitHub. Of course, I will cover all of this in the step-by-step course. Next, and it's an important one too, is the sign-in. As you can see, on most of the web apps you are using, you have to sign in to your account, right? So for example, if you are on X or on Twitter, you have to enter your email and password, etc. Here, the best way to introduce the sign up and login features in your code and in your app is using Google, because signing in Google is very convenient and really increase your conversion rate. What I mean is, using Google, when I click on login right here, I will have the option to just one click on my account to log in. So instead of having a whole process of, okay, I have to enter a username and a password and confirm my password and an email, etc. You just have to implement this short code, click on login with Google, and that's it. So it's again a great way to improve your conversion rate. And you can do this using the native tool of Google, which is sign in with Google feature. And combining this, the existing sign in with Google with Replit AI, you can just build a complete sign up and login system inside your app just in few prompts using Replit and Google. Of course, I will let all the link of the different tools I'm presenting today below the video, so you can just explore by yourself if you want to, or just access them. Right. Another very important tool when it comes to building your app is monetization. And when it comes to monetization for web apps, the most popular one is probably Stripe. For example, for FileDash, when the people are are signing with for the first time, they will have like payment page with 7 days free trial, etc. And you can do all of this using Stripe, and it's very convenient because as a no-coder, again, you have this pre-built thing with all the necessary forms, security for the card number, etc. You don't have to manage the whole payment process. It handles this for you for a very small fee. So it's very interesting to use Stripe. Just create an account. It's absolutely free. You don't have any monthly fee or anything. Next, the very, very important thing again is the landing page. As you can see for FileDash right here, I have this landing page before the customer can log in into my app. And to build this, you can use Google Sites. That's what I'm using. So right here, I can show you the backend of my landing page. And as you can see, it's very, very simple. And this full landing page was built in something like 2 hours or so. And you can add text, add videos, add some buttons, some links on the top, etc. Everything in a very, very easy to do, to manage and to handle UI. Right here, as you can see on the right, you have all these different options with buttons, divider, spacer, etc. YouTube. That's why what I'm using here to embed my video inside the page. So yeah, and again, Google site is 100% free. So you just have to use your regular Google account, the one you are using for Gmail, for example, and you can already access to this very convenient builder. You can start from scratch, from a blank page right here, or just use a template to save some time. So I will go through the process again in the full course, but right now you can just explore Google site with the link right below. Another important topic is it's when it comes to build AI apps. Sometimes you want to add AI inside your apps, right? So you can build with AI, but you can also build AI apps with AI, right? So for example, here I'm in FileDash and I'm using AI to analyze the CSV file, analyze also the prompt of the user, and just generate brand new charts using AI again. But you will have to make let's say an API call. An API call is just the way your app will communicate with an AI to execute some tasks. And the cheapest way to do so, but also a very effective one, is using Google Gemini. Again, I'm not sponsored by Google or anything, but using, for example, Gemini 1.5 Pro, which is very powerful, it's probably like 2 or 3 times cheaper to use Gemini than using, for example, GPT-4 or Claude Sonnet, if you're familiar with these models. So that's what I'm using again, and Gemini is very, very powerful, and you can start for free. So it's very interesting. For example, if you're building your MVP, minimum viable product, you will be able to implement AI for free into your app. As you can see here, I selected just the 1.5 Flash model, which is a bit less powerful, but also a very fast one. And you can just make 15 requests per minute and more than 1,500 a day. For example, if you're building a SaaS product, just wait for your app to earn some money before selecting the pay-as-you-go pricing. To test these different models and to create your API key, the easiest way is to use Google AI Studio. Again, link below. And as you can see on the top right here, you can select the different model to just try between 1.5 Pro and 1.5 Flash, for example. And you can just type your prompt. For example, it's a bad example. Let's say you're building a poem generator, right? You can test here by write a poem, click on run, and you can test the difference between Gemini 1.5 Pro and 1.5 Flash. And once you have find the perfect prompt and you want just to generate your API key to link your app with the Google AI API, just go right here on the top left corner, click on Get API Key, and here click on Create API Key. And again, you can start 100% for free. As you can see, I'm on the paid plan and I have actually two different API keys. You can generate a lot of them without any issue. But in my opinion, you should really start using Gemini instead of OpenAI because of the cost. Last but not least, we need to talk about the domain. What's the domain name if you are not familiar with that? So for example, right here, as you can see on the top of my screen, I have file-AI. And by default, while you're deploying your app using Replit, you have like, for example, my app name .replit.app. So it's not bad, but it's not very professional. And sometimes you just want to have like a clean name for your domain. And to buy a domain and to link it to both Replit and Google Sites for the landing page and for the app itself, I highly suggest you to use Cloudflare domain because Cloudflare is the cheapest way to buy a domain currently. The only thing, for example, I can type anything and .com right here, click on search, and as you can see, it's only a bit less than $8 a year for a domain. So it's very cheap. If you select the .org, it's a bit more, so almost $11 if you're selecting the .com one. But the only thing again, for example, I can't use Cloudflare for the .ai domain because Cloudflare doesn't provide the .ai extension. So if you're looking for a .ai domain, for example, or another extension, take a look at Porkbun because Porkbun, again, is very cheap. As you can see right here, I have my two domains, and one of them is file-AI. And here you can find .ai domains. So it's a good way if you want to have more specific extension, let's say. And of course, you can also create some professional email using both Porkbun and Cloudflare. So for example, when I have this file-AI domain, I can just create an email, paul@file-AI, which is very professional compared to just a regular Gmail account, for example. So here it is. I hope I didn't forget anything. I don't think so. And again, I will go through the whole step-by-step process to build an app from scratch, go deeper into each of these tools in the full course. And as I did, you will be able to create any app without any coding knowledge. Again, I'm not a coder, a developer at all. I don't have any ability to write a single line code by myself, not even a basic Python one or anything. But using generative AI, you can really build any app that you have in mind. So it's very powerful. Let's keep in touch. I will send you some news very quickly and see you soon.